Hey everyone, this is Something GameCat Adjacent. With me today and every day is the Game Wolf, and you're watching Viewer Takeover.
This is Viewer Takeover, where we film every Monday night and we bring it to YouTube every Tuesday as Viewer Takeover. I think I just said that. My name's Brian Paul from this channel right here, without Parole, and the guys to my right, the boys, Dave from Dave Station VR.
How's it going? Whoa, what was that face you made? Wow, you just kept going after. I can't stop.
Yeah,
it's a nervous tick at this point.
people think I do it on purpose. It's just a reaction. And that guy on the far right-hand side of the screen is AJ from The Underground, PSVR Underground.
Brian, Dave, Game Cats, happy 4th anniversary for our beloved PSVR
Oh,
headset.
yes. It's a big day.
Should we sing Happy Birthday, or what do you guys want to do?
Happy birthday
Whoa.
to PSVR.
No, I had no idea how bad that was going to sound. I'll never bring that up again, I promise you. Nice. Guys, what we do on this show is thank a bunch of people. And the first person we want to thank is Something GameCat Adjacent. We finally get to see his face on that awesome Viewer Takeover introduction.
Yes.
I mean, how cool is it that I've said this dude's name a million times on every show? He's a staple of Viewer Takeover now without even thinking about it. I was just like, he's just ingrained in there. And then, of course, he's got his gorgeous
dog. Gorgeous
right?
is the right word for that.
Yeah,
That is a beautiful dog. Oh
That
my
is
God.
wonderful, man. So that was a wonderful surprise. Thank you, Something
So
GameCat
what we've
Adjacent.
learned is that he's got sort of a Candyman kind of thing going on, but it takes a lot longer to get him to show up. You say his name like every show for months and months and months, and then eventually he's like, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah, Something GameCat Adjacent requires
Good on
some
you, man.
commitment.
For sure. Great
Nice.
intro, though. Thank you.
This is why we love Viewer Takeover intros, because we say people's names forever, and then we finally get to see what they look like. A valued, awesome member of the community. We finally get to see your face. If you want to introduce next week's show, make sure you send your short, sweet, seductive, southern, possibly spooky introduction to withoutparole@gmail.com.
What I want is somebody doing that seductive happy birthday, like the Marilyn Monroe happy birthday, Mr. President, or whatever. Just like devoted to the PS4. That should really be our next intro. If anyone's got the chops.
We also
Make
want
it
to thank
sexy.
these people down here. These are people who went to patreon.com/withoutparole.
Yay!
And they're the ones giving us $1 or more every single month because they love us almost as much as we love them. They are the fluffiest of the fluffy. And we appreciate you so much. You're the ones keeping this channel running. Thank you so much. Consider, if you like what you see, going to patreon.com/withoutparole games for just $1 or more every month. But the Patreon supporters and Something GameCat Jason are not the only people we want to thank, are they, AJ?
We would like to thank those that support us in another way by changing their name to Something GameCat, Something GameCat related, Something GameCat Adjacent, as you at Something GameCat Adjacent would like to say. And this week we have 6 new GameCats to welcome to the GameCat Dojo. Starting with GameCat in some sort of...
We're showing this on the screen right now. You know that that's not pronounceable, but it looks like a cool, like runic language. This looks like an ancient carving on the side of a rock. GameCat.
So that's got to be hotcakes then. We've also got Mad Max, the Mad GameCat Gamer.
I like it.
Witness me! Witness! I witness you.
Why do you think he's so mad?
Love it.
What do you think pissed him off?
I mean, have you seen the movie?
No.
There's a lot of bad
Fury
stuff
Road.
going
Mad
on.
Max Fury
Actually
Road.
haven't.
No one has any water is the main
So
thing.
good. Such a good movie. We've also got Virtual Slayer Cat. Raining meows.
Raining meows. I love it. Love it.
The Game Cat Aficionado.
That's so funny.
Oh,
You know,
a fish and
when I copied and pasted it, I didn't read it out loud, and so I didn't get it until you just said it.
K-Panic, the Midichlorian Game Cat.
oh, he's still late. He's still keeping it late.
That's right.
G4 and 3.
He actually changed it last week, you know, in celebration of Squadrons, and I totally missed it. So we're playing a little bit of catch up with K-Panic.
It's okay because we're all still playing Squadrons.
Oh,
Finally, we have the Scaredy Game Cat.
Just in time for October. Perfect.
Yes, perfect timing.
Yeah. I mean, all cats are a little scaredy. Tornado's super scaredy.
Yeah.
Carlos is fine.
Smack on the desk and they go.
Sitting.
But what we really do here on the show, after we thanked everybody on the face of the planet, is actually get into your questions. You can leave them in our Discord server. That link is in the description. You should join that anyway, man. That's where the conversation happens 24/7. But on our Discord server, there's a hashtag Viewer Takeover channel. You can leave your questions there. Or under any one of our videos, you can leave a comment with a hashtag Viewer Takeover, all one word. We'll find it. We'll search you out, and we'll just figure out where you live.
We'll hunt you down.
Yeah.
We'll dox you. We'll find your children, okay?
Yeah. And then we'll answer their questions too.
Any questions they have, it'll be great. It's nothing bad.
Right. We're going to show up at your door and answer lots of questions. It's very family friendly.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Dave, who's the first? Who's the question from? We got one question this week.
I want to let you guys know this is a whole different thing. Usually we have 3 to 5 questions, but this week we've got one big question, and we've chosen this one big question. Oh, were there 2?
No, one.
One?
No, that's why I put the other finger down.
Just like what?
There's 11 questions. Sorry.
No. Okay. So, and this is a big one and very timely, which is why we chose this as the whole theme for the show. So this comes to us from Ashley Rose Nicholas on our top 25 list video. And she says, I need some advice. I'm thinking about getting a VR headset for Christmas, but me and my dad are wondering if it's worth it because it's so expensive. I only have a few games I like, but they're all so good from the videos I've seen. So
Do it. Do it right now. Go out right now and get one.
Perfect.
That's the episode, guys.
All right. One question and done. That was the easiest one we've done in a while.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wow. We should keep doing it like this.
So the first thing I want to ask, it's unfortunate that we don't have Ashley here on the show with us because I want to kind of know what the situation is over there. Like if you have a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro currently, then it's not actually all that expensive, is it?
No, so recently I had to replace my V1 because it had gotten to a point where like the elastic band snapped and like all the foam fell off and stuff. But it was time for a new one. But I went to GameStop and they had a certified refurbished V2 for $150. And so that's not going to get you the camera, but it gets you everything else: breakout box, headset, wires, stuff you need. And for me, like that actually, it appeared as if no one had ever used the damn thing. Like it was so tight that it was almost like hard to get on my head. And so like, even though it says refurbished or it seems used or whatever, if price is an issue, you can get a VR headset for $150, from GameStop. So yeah, that's what I have. That's what I use right now. So
that's a damn good plan. And as a backup, this is for Christmas, and a lot of Christmas presents and gifts are bought during Black Friday when all the electronics get a lot cheaper. And so I would also, if you want more than just a headset, maybe also wait until Black Friday, where there's probably going to be like Best Buy online, a bunch of places online where you can get a bundle and get some games with it. I'm sure that Iron Man bundle might drop in price. There's like an Everybody's Golf and Blood and Truth bundle that's still fantastic, Moss and Astrobot. So keep an eye out for those as well, because you might be able to get the full shebang with some games ready to go.
Shebang.
And based on like past sales and stuff that we've seen on Black Friday, I said 150 is a good price, but that you can get 250 bundles, right? They had $250 bundles, I think. And that comes with the camera and everything. And honestly, the camera itself is not that cheap. So like, if you see a bundle that has some games, absolutely, that's a great idea. And we'll see probably even better deals this time around, because it's not like, why make it not cheaper at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. 4 years in, I definitely think that we're going to see, I actually think we're going to see a new bundle this holiday season. I would be very surprised if we didn't see Minecraft in a bundle.
That would be big.
Right?
That would be,
because that would sell like crazy. And on top of it, it's like you don't even need the move controllers at that point when you're packing something in with Minecraft. It's like, okay, if you can get the move controllers in a bundle, then by all means get them, because they are certainly fairly expensive
difficult
on their own.
Yeah, and hard to find sometimes.
Yeah, so like Iron Man bundle being $350 right now, if you can pick that up for $250 around the holiday season, that would be an awesome deal, and hopefully not too expensive for what you're looking for. The next part of this, though, I think is actually the current PlayStation VR library. It's like there's just so many things to go back to, because here we are 4 years in. We've been entertained for 4 years. We've been paying full price for all these games brand new when they came out, and now they're cheaper than ever. And plus, there's the potential of having a PlayStation VR sale going on to celebrate this anniversary. Potentially starting today. We have no idea how Sony's planning on celebrating this thing.
Yeah, I mean, the only downside that I can think of to getting into it right now is that you might be overwhelmed with how many good games there are. You might want to get too much right out of the gate. Yeah. Because, like you said, you've got a few games you like, but I think there's something about VR where, we always say VR makes everything better, but that's sort of a catchphrase. What we mean is like things that we wouldn't normally be interested in, games that wouldn't tickle our fancy exactly. You put them in VR, and sometimes it's a different story. And they can really become something that we like, and it's a great game.
Like puzzle games?
Puzzle games, yeah, exactly. I saw that big smile on your face.
Yeah. So catch and release, guys. Like catch and release to me is the biggest example of something I'm like, I don't want to play a fishing game. But then when you're out there and you're actually using the move controllers to row around the lake and just like this serene environment, and then like the clouds roll and it gets thunder and lightning, and you're like, I'm gonna keep fishing anyway. It's like there's something that I don't want to do that in real life. I don't even want to do that on a flat screen. But in VR, I'm like, yeah, no, this is exactly what I want to be doing right now.
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing about getting into it now too. I mean, like there are so many opportunities for cool experiences like that, and I think even if your scope of like what you're into already is limited, like I'm assuming this is a younger person asking this question, and they only have a few games that they play regularly. I remember being like that when I was a kid. You don't get every new game when you're a kid. You got a few that you play regularly, but there's just something about the VR experience. Once you hop in, even if you only like Fortnite, you'll probably have some fun with a zillion of these things, just because they're just so like, I don't know, there's something immediate about it, and it doesn't matter about the genre, really.
Yeah, 100%. It's having to review games for Without Parole means that I'm constantly playing games that are outside my wheelhouse, games with elements that I have no familiarity with at all. And I'm finding myself loving things that I would never play in a million years on a flat screen. And so I 100% agree with that. Like, Ashley, I don't know what your thoughts on scary games are, but if you're new to the channel, there's a little game called Resident Evil 7 I like to recommend whenever possible. Now,
get Beat Saber. Don't listen to Brian.
It is when it goes on sale, it is literally $20, and you're going to get so much enjoyment out of that for so long. Hours and hours and hours. The gold edition has so much DLC. It's October, man. I'm going to recommend.
That's what I was going to say.
You're contributing to terrifying children right now.
There's also lots of sales.
Is that not my MO, Dave?
No, but there's a dad in this question. Me and my dad are wondering, right?
Yeah.
If the dad's watching, don't listen to Brian. He's trolling right now.
Listen, Dad. If you like scary things, okay,
he can play it. He should play it.
We have to listen. We have no idea how old Ashley is.
Actually, that's another angle on this. So, her and her dad are wondering if it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think about the fact dad is in this equation too. For dad, totally worth it. So many cool things you can play. Yeah. If you're like, able to do more mature stuff, he can play Doom, Skyrim, like all this stuff that I don't think Ashley, I don't want to assume anything, but it's probably not her wheelhouse at the moment.
I feel like you're assuming that for sure. Ashley's probably the hardest core gamer of all time.
She's like 48 and she lives with her dad and they can't decide. Okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so.
Ashley, we need answers in the comments below. Thank you so much.
We do need answers.
We need you to be part of this conversation.
Somewhere. She's probably never going to know that she was the entire focus of this whole episode.
Oh, I'll link this to her comment for sure.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. But that is an important thing to say though. Like when you think about it as a parent, even because there's parents out there watching this too. Is it worth it for my kid to get this VR headset? Should I get this for them? Just remember, when they go to sleep, man, you can use that VR headset as much as you want. So it's good for the whole family.
Yeah,
buy one. That's what I'm saying.
I like that. I like that total. I like that angle on it for sure. Maybe. So here's where things can get a little bit questionable, I guess, right?
Okay.
I'm sort of here assuming that maybe Ashley and her dad are getting into VR, and maybe they're like late adopters. Maybe they picked up a PS4 last year or something, and they're like, oh no, here's something that this can do that we're very curious about. But the other part of this is that maybe they're not like that. Maybe they are cutting edge people, and that they've had a PlayStation 4 since launch. They got the PlayStation Pro at launch, and then they're planning on picking up a PlayStation 5 at launch. Like this is all stuff that sort of factors into the equation. And I know that it's been sort of a hotly contested topic lately, especially over on our Discord. If we should be buying a PlayStation 5 specifically for PlayStation VR.
Aha.
What do we think about that?
So there's a couple things that matter in this situation. I think right now there's still a lot of unknown questions, but they did release a PS blog Friday along with a bunch of support items that did answer some of our questions, but we still don't know things like the adapter unless they announce it today. Who knows? But the way I look at it is if you're on a Pro, then there's really no like huge rush to go out and get a PS5 if you're only focused on PSVR games. You can wait a little bit, let some games come out, let some more information come out. However, if you're on an OG PS4, then yes, absolutely, you want to grab a PS5 because they've not only said, so not only are you going to get the benefits of like basically upgrading to a Pro, but you're going to have the future proof of it. And they've said things like faster loading times, faster frames per second for select games.
Looking at you, Iron Man.
And potential other features that you are going to have like the best experience. You're going to have a better experience than we did with our PS4s at launch and stuff. So that's the easy answer for me. If not, just if you're on a Pro already, it's like just hang out for a bit. If that's all you're interested in VR, just let us show you the little details, and then once we tell you, yeah, now's the time, then go.
Yeah, and I think we don't know even what PS5 VR is going to look like, so it's hard to recommend anything like that because we have no real basis for comparison.
Luckily, we do know that almost the entire library, all but 2 games, have said to not work, and one of those might actually get fixed. So you're going to have access to the entire library.
Listen, I say don't buy a PlayStation 5 because you can't play Robinson the Journey on it.
Is that one of the games? Is that really one of the games?
One of the two. The other one is DWVR, but as AJ found out, they are trying to patch that one.
Okay. Wow, those are the only 2?
Only 2.
Really? What did DWVR do
10
so
games
bad?
total. Actually, DWVR only just had a problem launching, and that's it. And he's working on a patch to get it fixed before launch anyways. 10 games total, including PSVR and flat games. 10 games total were the ones that didn't make it.
So upset about Shadow Complex Remastered.
I think this just proves you can't run the Crytek engine on PS5.
Yeah.
It's not powerful enough.
No,
right.
Crisis 2 will never run on this.
All that speed for nothing.
I will say, as a little bit of a contrarian here, I've got a bone to pick with Sony. I'm really unhappy about their messaging so far. As PlayStation VR is concerned, it's not going to be an angry rant, AJ. I have more respect for myself than that.
I can saddle up if you want me to.
No,
I'm ready to go.
I'm just really upset about the messaging so far. I feel like that they're trickling this information out little by little. We should have known about this backward compatibility stuff a while ago. They should have already told us where we need to get that adapter from. They've been saying it's free. We don't think it's going to be packed in the box, the one that you to use your current PSVR or PlayStation camera on your PlayStation 5 for VR, because the PlayStation 5 camera is not going to work with the current VR. So it's just like it's these little things, and it shouldn't be that complicated. Be like, listen, just walk into any GameStop. And with your little slip that comes in the PlayStation 5 box, and all you have to do is trade that slip for the adapter. But tell us, man, tell us what the system is. Tell us how we're going to get that adapter. I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 at launch on day 1. It's going to be here, release day delivery from Amazon, and I don't know yet if I'm going to be able to play my PlayStation VR on day 1 on my PlayStation 5. So it might just be sitting there as a paperweight right now. The other thing is that we don't know if there's going to be PlayStation 5 specific VR games. This is something we assumed forever, or I assumed forever. I'm taking full responsibility on that one. That there's just going to be day 1. It's like a secondary launch of PlayStation VR. Your current headset's going to take full advantage of PlayStation 5 power, and look at all these cool games you're going to get on day 1 that you couldn't play on PlayStation 4. And as time goes on, I'm assuming, maybe incorrectly because Sony's not telling us anything, that every PlayStation VR game, PlayStation VR 1 game is literally going to be a PlayStation 4 game until PSVR 2 hits. These are huge questions for some people. You know, like if they're looking to get a PlayStation VR 2 or trying to take full advantage of their PlayStation 5 for VR, then a lot of these people should wait a year. Just wait a year, man, and go get PlayStation 5 next year when they've sorted out all the bugs and like maybe the launch models, you know, aren't going to be as solid as the ones a year from now. I kind of don't recommend that if you're just playing PlayStation VR games. I don't see a huge reason to get a PlayStation 5 at launch. Wait until Sony actually tells us there's a reason to.
Well, I hope that we can say on launch day that there's a reason to. Like, I hope that we
Yes,
get our
me
PS5s
too.
and we load up some VR games and it's like, oh, goodness, this is better. Or something, you know, something. I don't know if that'll happen. And I think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit launch day and there wasn't really still any clear roadmap for how that works in the future. Like PS5 games with VR, PS4 games with VR on a PS5, all that stuff. But I'm worried we're going to get this huge backlash of people who are like, Sony's not supporting VR anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This is the PlayStation Vita again, which is what we've heard a million times because they haven't specifically officially announced a PSVR 2. But if that happens on launch day, you know, that the support isn't what we think it's going to be, or there's some issues with it, people will come out swinging and say, oh, Sony doesn't care about VR anymore.
Right.
And I want to reiterate that I don't think that that's the case. Even if they botch the VR launch on PS5, PSVR 2 is coming on PS5. I don't think that that's even a question.
Right.
So the idea of like Sony's dropping support for VR, they don't care about it anymore. I just want to get ahead of that and say, like, even if you can't use it day one, guys, they messed up. But like, I think they're still definitely focused on the format, and people should not be doomsday prophesying about that the way that they are on the internet.
I've been dealing with people saying VR is going to die. It's not going to have any games. There's still people that say it doesn't have any games. I've been dealing with that stuff for 4 years
I just
now.
mean specifically the Vita thing. People always bring up the Vita thing. And
This
they
is
say
a much
Sony
different
is
market.
Abandoning this.
No, this is a much different market. Sony is number one in terms of the amount of headsets that they have. There are more PSVRs, like by millions, than any other platform. The Vita, unfortunately, had a little bit of competition called the DS.
Yeah.
And that thing like smacked it around and beat it up to a pulp. And
We shouldn't pretend that we don't have competition. I mean,
there's
Oculus
definitely competition. And
exists.
I'd hope that there's competition because that would be much better thing. The more we can generate, competition, interest, word of mouth, anything for VR as a whole is better right now. But yeah, my personal take on it is that obviously, there are still a lot of unknowns at this time, but that's why I said if you're on an OG, I do think you should upgrade to a PS5 because it'd be future proof. If you're on a Pro, I would say hold off for a little bit and wait till we find out more specifics. I would like to think, to answer Brian's what he's talking about, I would like to think that there are games that are going to get PS5 patches, stuff like Dream, stuff like No Man's Sky, games that are still being supported to this day, that won't just utilize the base core features of the PS5, like Iron Man potentially with faster load screens, but games that will actually get like graphical fidelity enhancements, stuff like that weren't possible with the limited PS4 hardware. This isn't just exclusive to VR games. There's a lot of PS4 games, of 4,000 in fact, that still have a lot of unknown questions. You don't know what game's going to get upgraded unless they're relatively new. There's a few like Hitman. Hitman already has said that it's going to have a PS5 patch, and that could possibly be, that could actually affect the VR portion as well. We just don't know yet.
I 100% agree that we're going to get PS5 patches, just like we got PlayStation 4 Pro patches. I 100% agree that that's going to be a thing. I just think that every PSVR game until PlayStation VR 2 is going to launch as a PlayStation 4 game and then get your PlayStation 5 patch.
To me, it depends on how long it takes for a second headset to come out.
I give it a
if
year.
it's going to be if it's going to be a really long time before another headset, then I could see them, utilizing the older hardware. But if they've already got one, which from everything I've seen, it looks like they're getting closer and closer, then I would do that too. I would wait for Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil 8 and stuff to be unless unless there was a PS4 version that could be supported with VR. Then yeah, I mean, if I were them, I would definitely see those as a reason to sell a second headset.
So not to draw out a whole new thing of this here, but I was thinking about something. So games like Subnautica, right, which are VR on PC but are flat on PS4, where we haven't really talked about this, the possibility of can they bring that VR port to PS5, even though it's like a PS4 game in the store? Do they make a PS5 version? Like, but there are games that we've seen that came so close to getting released, and they were like, it just can't run on the OG. I'm sorry, it's not coming. And so they're still out there. So I wonder, like, what's the possibility with those kind of games that could still get up converted to VR because they have been elsewhere?
I feel like all of those games are being bottlenecked and waiting for the PlayStation VR 2. Like they are waiting. Like I bet we're going to see a ton of those games PlayStation VR 2 launch day. I just don't see any game that doesn't support PSVR on PlayStation 4 getting VR treatment on PlayStation 5. I just feel like it gets really confusing as far as consumers go. Like at a certain point, you could be like, we are drawing a line. This is where PlayStation VR 1 ends, and this is where PlayStation VR 2 begins. And that gets really muddy there when you start saying, well, this is PlayStation VR 1, but only on PlayStation 5. And then, but it's, not on PlayStation VR 2. It's just like, whoa. It's like, VR is already confusing for some people. And I feel like that would just muddy the waters completely.
Well, stuff like Subnautica and whatnot, they said before that if there was enough demand, then people asking that they would have attempted it. I know they put it on PC VR, but I also remember it not running very well or hearing that it didn't run very well.
The Fallout 4 problem, probably why we never got Fallout 4 VR.
Right. So I imagine it's going to be depending on the developer. There's going to be developers that are primed and ready that are still together, that still, have the same stuff. If the game was very successful and they're still supporting it, then I think they would be more likely to do some kind of PS5 upgrade or something. Like I said, like No Man's Sky, like Dreams. But, stuff that is like lesser known or maybe is not profitable anymore. Who knows? It could also act as a second chance to sell their game again. I mean, Minecraft just got VR support this late in the generation. So to me, it's really just about what kind of resources the individual developers have. But I definitely could totally see, a lot of games that are like coming out on PS4 and have a PS5 version as well. Because, as it stands right now, way more people are going to have PS4s, but there's also a great opportunity to sell to people your game again. You get a second chance with PS5.
Yeah. And just to kind of wrap up this whole discussion, I do want to reiterate, kind of getting back to the original question, like if you are the kind of person that stays a generation behind or just upgraded to your PlayStation 3 to a PlayStation 4 Pro recently, and you're questioning, should I be picking up a PlayStation VR headset with the PlayStation 5 on the horizon and PlayStation VR 2 on a further distant horizon? If you're the kind of person that's waiting already, then this is the greatest time to pick up a PlayStation VR headset because, again, the sales are going to be amazing. I would say keep an eye out on sales over the course of this month. Even if you're not ready to pick up a VR headset yet, I would say start building that library, man, and pick up the games that you're interested in for $5, $6, $10, $20 that that will save you 70% on the original price. And then when you get that VR headset, you're like, here, I've already got a library of games that I'm excited to play. So yeah, to answer the original question, I say absolutely go for it because PSVR 2 and PlayStation 5 are expensive. And diving into PSVR 1 currently is not terribly expensive at all.
And there's so much to do. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things.
Go make us some games.
Yes,
and dreams.
I have to agree. Yeah. And AJ, I got to assume you agree as well. Buy a PSVR headset this holiday season.
Absolutely. The only way I'd say don't buy a PSVR headset is if today, on the 4th anniversary of PSVR, they say, they announced PSVR 2 and they say, it's coming like right after PS5. Then I'd say, okay, hold off.
Yeah.
But
well, especially if they pull some Oculus Quest shit where it's cheaper than the original one.
Yeah,
right.
Other than that, though, I mean, if there's no PSVR 2 in sight right now, then yeah, absolutely, 110%.
Yeah, we are filming this Monday night, October 12th at 8 p.m. And so just keep that in mind if you see some new blog posts anytime after that. And then you're like, well, you guys are wrong because, well, yeah, of course we are. And I'm always wrong.
In the past. Everybody in the past is wrong.
And I'm always wrong anyway. So, done. All right, you guys. I think that's gonna do it for another episode of Viewer Takeover. Happy birthday to PlayStation VR. Please don't sing.
PlayStation VR.
Yes. Thank you to everybody out there. If you don't like the topics of our viewer takeover, remember the only one to blame is yourself. Make sure you leave some viewer takeover questions over on our Discord. Click that link in the description or in the comments below by putting hashtag viewer takeover, all one word, then leaving your question after that. Remember, if you change your name to GameCat, when you change your name to GameCat, remember hashtag GameCat in the comments below so we can give you a shout out in next week's show. Also support us on patreon.com/withoutparolegames.
Games.
And send us a viewer takeover introduction withoutparole@gmail.com. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, AJ. My name is Brian. This was Viewer Takeover, and we're out.
Happy birthday
I was wondering what he was doing.
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Take it back. Don't buy a PSVR.
PlayStation VR. I
Sell
love
your
you
PSVR.
I don't think I'm old enough for this.
so much. All right. Have a good night, everybody.